and I'm the host of your show, Our Voices. And today our topic is long-term marriages in the African American community. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing some personal friends of mine, Mr. and Mrs. Myson and Rosa Mayfield, and the beautiful Miss Mady Lumpkins, okay? These are people that have been pillars and part of our community for a number of years, but I'm going to let them share their story with you. Mr. Myson, could you tell us a little bit about your background and your marital history, if you don't mind sharing the story?
Yes, thank you. I came to Vallejo in April of 1979, and I came with my wife and 2 children because of the Navy. I was riding the submarine, the USS Nautilus, SSN 571, and it allowed me the opportunity to come to the city of Vallejo. We were married in December of '64.
Get it right. Every wife right there caught you right then and there, buddy. Let's go.
And so we lived, if you will, on Mare Island for a number of years. And we left, came back to Vallejo in '82, and I have been residing here ever since then. My wife, Barbara, passed in '08, and I had the opportunity to meet Rosa, and we, after a period of time, a couple years, was able to decide that we would like to be married to each other.
Aren't you lucky? Rosa, boy, how did you do that? I know all the ladies were like, woo! Tell us a little bit about your background and personal history.
Yes, I was born and raised in California, San Francisco, California, yes.
Oh.
And I met my deceased husband at Bank of America in 1971. And so we met at the bank. We both were employees of Bank of America. We got married, lived in San Francisco for another 8 months. Then we moved to Palo Alto. And I had 1 child there. After 2 years of marriage, we had a child, a son. And then from there, and then I had another daughter in 1975, and we decided that we had a 2-bedroom house that we wanted to move in a larger home. Mm-hmm. So I had a friend that worked at the bank, and he told me about Vallejo. It was a nice place to raise a family. At that time, the crime rate was very low. It was domestic violence. Somebody you knew. So he said it was a bedroom community.
Yeah,
yes. So I came. He set up a realtor, and I came to Vallejo. And after we caught the second bridge, my husband said, "No, I don't know if I want to cross 2 bridges." But we found a house. After it was the 3rd house, we found a house. It was 6 months old, and I moved. Might seem kind of coincident with him. I wanted to move to Vallejo April 1979.
So it seems like the spirits and the divine spirits that were out there were conspiring to help you guys to come together. How long were you and your first husband married?
We were married for just short of 37 years. My husband passed in January 6, 2008, 5 years ago. And we would have made 37 years February 20th.
I forgot to ask you, Myson, how long were you and your first wife married prior to her?
44 years.
44 years, okay. I want to go to Miss Mady. I want to get back to you two in a second, but I want to go to Miss Mady. Me and Miss Mady, we go back like 4 fats in a Cadillac, okay? For years and years and years. Miss Mady and her husband, Andrew Lumpkins, and I always called him Lump. Everybody that knew him, you know, that was Lumpkins, and he was such a wonderful man. But I want to introduce you, and I want you to tell us a little bit about your story and how you two met and how long you guys were together.
Well, actually, we met when he was stationed at Travis.
Oh, wonderful.
Air Force Base.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, I had just got out of a relationship with my first husband. So, you know, I wasn't ready to get into another one. You know, besides, you know, the story about
Airman. Everybody in Vallejo knows the story about
really,
Airman.
But he was persistent. You know, he wouldn't give up. You know, so then we dated, and we was together for 40 years before he passed. And in that reunion, you know, he had 2 sons, I had 3. And it was a blended family, and you know, 40 years. It was a good 40 years.
You have to learn a lot of give and take. My husband and I have been married for 43 years, and I know from personal experience there's a lot of giving and a lot of taking, and sometimes it doesn't always work out to be fair as to whether he's doing the giving or the taking, or you're doing the giving or the taking. But you know that in a marriage that it's going to take that type of compromise and that type of negotiation, you know, for both people to continue to be together and everybody to have a little bit of happiness, you know.
Well, that's true. Well, you have to listen.
Yes.
You have to listen to one another, you know, and you have to give each other that space.
Yes, that is so true.
You know, and as we all know, you know, our men has to have their space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and what they call it now, they little man cave.
Yeah. My husband's got a man cave.
You know, and right.
Last night.
Oh, you asked for yours last night? Okay, well, very good. Maybe Rosa will let you have it. You know? But you're correct. That space and that ability to come together and be together. I love the fact that you two are now together. You know, blended your family, but more importantly, you've blended a relationship. Each one of you coming from a long-term relationship, so knowing that you got to have some give and some take in it. And you know, they always say it's sweeter the second time around. And seeing you guys at the gym and seeing you guys as I do out, the happiness is just all over you. You know, you can't even him. I tease him a lot, but the happiness is just all over you, and that is a wonderful, beautiful, and a rare thing. One of the reasons that I wanted to talk about this particular subject is because, as you know, we always hear about the dads that have abandoned their families, and the single moms that are, you know, just out here and, you know, just out here trying to catch boyfriends and so on and so forth. I know that all of that is not true. Okay, a little bit of truth is into all of that, but as evidenced by the fact that I can name 5 people that I went to school with that got married at the same time that my husband and I did in the African American community, and they're still married. I know you can do the same.
Yes.
You could do the same. So this was the object of having you guys come on, and let's just talk about that. Let's talk about not the negativity that is out there, but the positivity that is out there on beautiful long-term black marriages. You know, you're my man here, so.
Well, I think you have to go, in my case, you have to go back to where I come from. I came out of Los Angeles. I lived in Watts. I came from a family that was a church kind of environment. That's all I knew. And so as I got older, I had watched how my parents lived their lives. And so I had some idea as to how I would like to structure my marriage and my life. And so when I look back, I still have some of those tendencies that I learned from home, and how to treat a woman and how to make her feel.
I believe that is just you. If you don't get it from how are you supposed to know it? If you know if you all you see is your dad knocking your mom around, what do you grow up and do? But if you know, I saw my dad dancing with my mom. You know, I mean, I grew up with, you know, my daddy just deciding that everybody should, you know, start dancing and, you know, putting on music, and the whole family, you know, would be. That's the way I grew up. That's what I saw coming up. And, you know, while he had his faults, as, you know, nobody is perfect, he and my mom had a pretty good time. They had 9 children together, and, you know, they had a pretty good time.
Yeah, we all have faults.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you have to look beyond that.
Yes.
And so, after 44 years of training.
Yes, there you go. Very.
I'm so
He's
fortunate.
trained well.
Yes, I love it.
I'm so fortunate to have the
Lady.
opportunity. I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity now to reapply those things that was instilled in me in the first wife. I can do much better with the second one. And
That is just
I
so
feel
beautiful.
so fortunate to have the opportunity to get it right this time.
I'm so proud of you. You know, I'm proud of you for a lot of reasons, but I'm really proud of you because a lot of men don't understand that. I was sitting in the hot tub at the gym the other day and I was talking to a man. He'd been married 3 times. Excuse me? And each time, the wife left him. Buddy, I think the common denominator is you. I don't know. I may be wrong.
That's
right.
That's the common. You got 3 different women, and they all got to say bye-bye, buddy. Maybe it's time for you to do some internal inside cleansing. And Miss Rosa, what do you have to say in terms of, I don't like to call it husband training, but I call it cross training because he trains you as well as you train him. Okay.
Yes, and that's one thing we joke about. He'll say, Myson would say to me, Larry trained you well. My first husband's name was Larry. And I'll say, well, Barbara trained you well also. Because as I would tell him, she knocked off that youthfulness.
Yes.
Because you're young, there's no book on marriage.
Oh,
and you're not taught in school. And I think I have a common denominator also is that my parents were together over 40 years. They had a good marriage. So I saw, and my father was a Navy man, just had a tattoo too. And actually I realized that he has some of the characteristics of my father and the first husband also. And that my father, took care of his family. He was a man that worked hard. He would work extra job at Christmas, and I have memories of him taking $100 bills and spreading them out before us and taking them all back, handing us each one.
Yes.
And and he liked to have fun too. I got the same memories, the dancing,
Yes.
the friends, having the friends over.
Yes.
But he was a hard working man that took it, and they had 5 children. And I was the only girl right in the middle, so I definitely was daddy's girl,
Oh, for sure.
And so I felt very loved. I think I had that love from a man.
Yes.
And my daddy treated me good. So I think when your daddy treats you good, you kind of demand that from a man.
Oh my gracious, that is so, man,
Plus I had all brothers.
That is so powerful,
Right.
And so many women don't really understand that all of that searching is you just really, if you had that daddy right there that was giving you that love and that approval. My daddy thought that I was the smartest thing in the world.
Right,
so
my dad too.
Naturally, I tried to act like I was the smartest
Right.
thing in the world, And my granddaughter, she said something. I don't need that. My granddaddy provided.
Somebody can be too much.
When you give a young lady and even a young man, I look at my sons and how
Confidence.
they revere their father and how they look up to their dad. Their dad is everything to them, and you with your blended family to be able to, to have those sons and your sons look up to Lumpkin as their father and as their leader, and his sons look to you
Right.
as
Right.
mom.
Right.
Right.
You
And
know?
it was not easy,
Oh, I know.
having a blended family. But the love,
Oh boy.
see, that was number one, the love and the respect that we had for each other. And Lump was a man's man.
Yes.
Like you called him Lump. Andrew. He was a man's man.
Yes.
He took care of his family, and he had pride.
Yes.
And the old school, I was brought up in the old school. And so I learned a lot from my parents, their relationship, because they was together for 50-some years.
Yes. Yes.
And my mom, she was a housewife. She never
mom
worked.
too, yeah.
So see, I got all of that from her, cleaning, take care of the family, cooking, and all of that, and taking care of the family.
Right.
Whereas Lump was the breadwinner, but I worked too, though.
Yes. Yes.
We both worked.
In this day and age, it had to become a dual income family.
sure.
I mean,
Right.
I tried to stay home with my sons as long as I could, and I was very blessed to have in-laws, grandparents here where I could leave. I never had to worry about babysitters. I could leave the kids, and I could go to work in San Francisco. A lot of people don't have that, didn't have that support, And my husband is as old-fashioned as they get. He's as old school as they come. Mr. Meissen can attest to that. He's very, very old school. But one of the things that we both have a good, I believe, foundation of family.
Family is important.
You know,
Family.
Yeah.
family. That has always been the linchpin and the foundation for us. That love. Oh my gosh, you know, to be able to have that love and to share that love and to spread that love and, you know, to watch your sons grow up. My sons are in long-term marriage and, you know, see his kids and, you know, basically do what Dad and I did.
Yeah.
I mean, that just really, I mean, it warms your heart. It makes you feel good. Of course, not all of them have done that because everybody is different. But I feel real pleased and proud that the sons that have taken that time and opportunity to see that, you know, it's good to build a marriage. It's good to build a relationship. It's good to have long-term, you know.
Yeah, because I looked at my son, my youngest son, the baby. He's now found a woman that he, you know, looks like she might be the woman because that's the first woman he ever introduced me to.
Okay.
And he told me he was having a hard time at first because he said he was trying to find someone like me. So actually the sons do the same thing.
Yes.
They kind of they're looking for somebody like their mom, and they won't bring any woman to you.
No.
Yes.
So when they bring you and you bring them to family functions, you know that.
That's the one.
And I don't.
That's it.
And you know, as I think I said, I have actually 4 kids. I have 2 boys and 2 girls. And even the girls, the youngest daughter is married and with 2 children, and she wants to do. I noticed she want to do the same things we did. You know, like Christmas, the same traditions they want to carry.
Yes.
Because this made them happy. Even my nieces and nephews. I used to have 8 children in the summertime come to my house. Since I had the most children, my house was called the fun house. But as they grow, the nieces and nephews, they'll mention it. You don't realize you have an impact on
so
outside
true.
your family, your immediate family.
That
Yes,
is so
yes,
true.
Yes.
My nieces and nephews, you know, talked about, we thought it was a terrible trip getting stuck in the snow up in Tahoe when my mom was, you know, having to put the chains on, take them off, put them on. Them kids thought that was just the best memory when we rode down the hill.
They have those
They
memories.
just thought that was just wonderful.
Right.
Well, they love that because, you know, with my 5 sons, I have 15 grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
And
We're
I
blessed.
have 5 great.
Okay.
And like you say, when they bring a girl home, I know it's serious.
Right.
Because they know how mother is.
Exactly.
Okay. But when we get together, it's fun time.
Oh, yes.
They sit up and tell these stories. You remember when Mom and Daddy did
Yes, they did. Yeah.
And I said, I don't remember that.
I love to not remember.
Me too, you know, but it's wonderful
Right.
because you could see the love and the joy
You
in their
can.
faces because you know what? They have memories
Yes.
of all of the families being together.
Oh, my
and we
gosh.
have extended family members. You know, my
Right.
kids' friends come.
Oh my
Yeah, I have the same
Yes,
thing.
we- my kids'
Yes,
friends
that's true.
from you know high school
Yes.
and college. I mean, it's like and then their friends. They say, so I have nieces that have old boyfriends. When the boyfriends don't come no more, but the kids still come. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait a minute, you know. But we are so accepting, and we love that. I tried to get out of a tradition this past year. I don't know if I told you guys a story at the pool, but at Christmas morning we have waffles and ham and stuff at my house. And I figured since there are no little kids at my house anymore, we would go to where all the little kids, you know, house and they all their toys. And so I said, well, why don't we just not have the waffles and why don't we have, and everybody went, not have waffles at your house. It was like I cut their throats or something, you know, and it just went all through the house. She said no waffles. She said no waffles. I was like, okay, I take it back. I take it back. I take it back. You know, because you're trying.
I know.
You're trying to put those traditions over.
You can't.
So that the younger generation can do that. Because I'm big auntie now. But they were like, I mean, from the 30-year-olds to the 3-year-olds, they were like, no.
I was trying to get out of making gumbo. Every year I make gumbo on New Year's. So my son, girlfriend was going to be in town, so he asked me, can you make it on New Year's Eve? Even though my younger daughter was having a party for the young people. We were invited if we wanted to come in the morning, in the beginning, and then leave. You know? But so I did that. And but the daughters weren't too pleased with it. They said he's changing tradition.
Who told him?
I said
he got a girlfriend.
He said he wants a girlfriend to taste mom's gumbo. So we adapted.
Well, even the grandchildren,
Yeah.
like my son one year, he was going to relieve me
Right.
because my house is the big house.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything is
Happens.
at my house.
Right.
So one year my son said, well, Mom, I'll have it at my house. So we went to his home. Beautiful time. So the grandkids come running up to me saying, but Granny, aren't we going to your house?
They want to after her.
going to your house.
After her.
We here.
I said, baby, this is it. The little sad faces, they want to go to Granny's house.
It makes a big difference. That tradition that we come up with is so important. We don't realize how important it is to our children and to our grandchildren until we make one little move and say, well, you know what? I think we're going to change. Oh, no.
The adults want it more than the children. Yeah.
They do.
They do. Well, I'll tell you, this has been a most interesting conversation. I love to talk about how wonderful families are and how many great families that we hear all the time and the horrible things that are going on, and oh my God, it's so bad. I try not to even listen because it just overwhelms you. But those of us that know that those things have always gone on.
Right.
Okay, it's not like it's new. They've been with us forever. Everything that is happening right now has been with us forever, okay?
That's true.
It's
It's
just the media
now
brings it out more.
We have to look at it in our face. We can't even turn the TV off. We can't shut it down because it's just shoving it at us, day and night. So I think that it is important for us elders in the community, those of us that have some experience, those of us that have been around, that we should try to bring that out so that those young people that have not had that experience at least know about it. Sure. At least hear about it, because if they don't know about it, how can they say, well maybe I would like to have that type of lifestyle. I just don't know how.
Yeah, they don't have the history.
You just have to continue to enforce and reinforce those things that have gone on through the years. Families coming together, families spending time together, families going on trips together and stuff. And it works. I think that over a period of time, most children don't forget that childhood.
No, boy, no. They hold it dear, don't they, Miss Mayden?
They do.
Yeah.
They really do. It's like everybody know the Lumpkin Stite family.
Yes.
I mean, and like I said, on any given holiday, I have 70, 80 people at my house.
Yes.
And these are my children's friends, they know that we always have good times. And that's important.
Yes.
And my kids feel good and I feel good. At least these people have somewhere to go.
Yes.
And they feel love. And they see the love and they see what we have accomplished as a family. Getting together without fighting.
Right.
No bad languages is spoken. That's my family know that's forbidden.
Yes, we don't do that.
Pants up.
Right.
So a lot of times the outsiders can see
Yes.
what's happening
Exactly.
with other great families.
This year, we had the opportunity, Rosa's family get together Christmas Eve, I think it is. And the house is full. All her kids are there, and grandkids are there, and then Santa rolls through.
Oh,
Santa, he just turned the place
oh.
And it's good to see how the young kids still respond to Santa coming to town.
And that was, again, the first husband, he used to play Santa Claus every year. I think when the oldest son was 3, even though he knew it was his dad. But when he appeared, it was no dad.
He was Santa Claus.
And just something we did with the nieces and nephews. So what amazed me, now my younger daughter has picked that up, and some of her cousins that were there, it was like they were kids again. It amazed me that they were grown, but they were reliving their childhood. The same excitement,
Yeah,
you know.
they do.
That
Yeah.
is just so wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for agreeing to be my guest today. I can't believe 30 minutes have passed and we've had this opportunity to sit here and talk about marriages. It's Valentine's Day coming up. I know my sweetie is going to have something sweet for me, and I'm going to have something sweet for him. And I know you guys are going somewhere. I'm not going to even talk to you guys. I'm jealous. And Miss Mady, I know your beautiful family is going to continue to love and revere you as the matriarch of their family and keep it going. And you are just so beautiful. I love your spirit. You've always been a spiritual woman, and that is what draws people to you, is that spirituality, that kindness, and that love that you show to people. And I personally want to thank you for that. Miss Rose, I haven't known you as long as I've known these other two, but it has been my absolute pleasure to make your acquaintance and get the opportunity to get to know you. You're a beautiful person, and I'm pleased and proud to be a part of our little group, as I call it. And you, Trouble? You're my friend.
I want to thank you for having me on your program today. It's been an enjoyable chat.
I appreciate that.
Thanks again.
I appreciate that.
I thank you also. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Oh, you guys are so welcome. It's just a pleasure to be able to sit down and talk to wonderful people about positive things.
Yes, yes.
That's what it's all about. It's about the positivity. It's about how we can all come together and be together as a community, okay? I say the African American community, but you know, we all have love for our fellow man, and that means for everybody. That means for all ethnicities,
That's
right.
all
Yes.
nations, and all peoples. And if you don't have that love in your heart, you need to go back and think again.
Yes.
So, again, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. My name is Deborah Dixon, and I am your host of Our Voices, and I hope that you enjoyed this chat. And I want to say to my darling husband, who I love more than words can say, Happy Valentine's Day to you, dear.